All good? Ready to go? Turn my voice up a little bit. Oh, got that. Everyone watching. The whole family.
Are you ready to go? Are you built to be in the house that I built, in the booth that I built?
I know people tune in every Sunday to listen, but even when business is good, we still manage to do the podcast.
Podcast 172 with myself, Steve,
and Barry.
Yeah,
I don't do that myself.
I tricked you into doing it last week, though, didn't I?
Tricked me last week, you little turd.
How are you? You good?
I'm all right.
Even though we spend every day together, and I know exactly what you've been up to. We need to let the podcast nation know. How has Barry been?
I'm all right, lad. I'm all right.
You good?
Shouldn't I be?
No, yeah. You just always look like good? You just need to let your face know.
Do I look good?
Yeah, you always look good.
Fancy me?
Yeah. You're a good-looking man, Barry.
Grey-haired, man.
You've got a face for radio.
Look at that, lad.
Got a face for radio.
I don't usually have a beard, but look at that, lad.
The big grey soul patch coming out.
Big grey patch on the end of my beard.
Everyone that is watching live, thank you for joining us. We're on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. It's going to be really hard to keep up with comments on YouTube and Instagram, but I will go through them. What happens is when I try and keep up with comments, it means the podcast goes a little bit choppy and I lose myself. But it's on PGRs. It's podcast 172 and we're on PGRs, Plant Growth Regulators. Now, what you'll see me looking down at my paperwork today quite a bit because it wasn't the planned podcast. It was going to be Innovate or Imitate, wasn't it? But...
And then you got all scientific on me, didn't it, again?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting this podcast out again.
No, you're not. You're being you're going to... So what happens is we've got a good knowledge on PGRs, but to deliver a good podcast, we need to go in depth. And I want to make sure I'm delivering all of the right information at the right time. And PGRs, it's always a hot topic, but sometimes it gets brought up on social media. And I thought, do you know what? I am actually fed up of this. And we need to get to the bottom of PGRs. And we also need to educate on PGRs. So PGR stands for Plant Growth Regulate, and a PGR is a hormone that regulates plant growth.
What are we going to do now then? Out all the companies who've got
We don't know. And do you know why we don't know? Because
they don't tell us.
Because they don't tell us. They're not... In the UK, they don't have to tell us what's
There's
in
no
the
regulations in that, is there, or something?
There mustn't be, because, well, there's things like Fruit Machine on the market, which has got Diminazide or Paclo in. Doesn't matter which one of the two, because they're both really shit. And we're going to get into that.
It for human consumption or for... What's the other one?
Well, it's registered as for ornamental plant growth.
Yeah, ornamental.
So ornamentals being plants that you don't grow and eat. They are for show. Like, that is an ornamental plant. If that started growing so tall that it was going to hit the roof, I would throw in Diminazide, because that would stunt its growth. It would mean it's not going to hit the ceiling, and it's going to look really nice. No one's going to ever consume it, and it will come in a form that's not detrimental to human health. That's what it's meant for. It is not meant for human consumption. That's basically the nutshell of today's podcast. We've got a couple of things to say first. First things first, made a bit of a boo-boo on last week's podcast.
Right.
Best of British.
Right.
Completely didn't mention P&L Grow Systems monitor, did I? Which is pretty much a brilliant Best of British. It's made by it's made by a team, but two frontmen, British. The knowledge is they've all looked into British universities. The components, as much as they can get, is from Britain, and it is a very good Best of British podcast. It started, it's been not promoted, but basically what he's doing is he's giving monitors out to people, and they're using them and they're loving them. It's based on Wi-Fi, and what he's getting through now is showing people how secure they are, and that the fact of monitoring your room is really handy. Not just when you go into the room, you go, oh, maximum's been 33, minimum's been 18, shit, I need to do something about that. It's been, well, it went to max for 33, but it only went up there for 2 minutes, and then my fan kicked in and it regulated itself at 28, so there's not much fiddling I need to do, but it's been at 18 of a night for quite a long period. So there's a 10-degree swing there. Let's bang in another radiator. Job done. And you can see those swings wherever you're at in the world as long as you've got internet.
Like,
Good piece of kit. What's going on? There's little dings in me ear. Whose phone was that? Put your hand up. Yeah, no one's owning up to that, are they? Someone's phone's dinged. So so apologies to.
so what, you can watch live as long as you've got Wi-Fi. You can watch.
You can look at your
monitor
data
your
live
room
as long as
live.
you've got Wi-Fi.
Good,
So
isn't
yeah, follow them, P&L Grow Systems. They definitely win a Best of British award. So apologies for not mentioning you last week.
Oh, we're just really busy. We don't get time to do everything.
But that was like Best of British podcast or Best of British product, wasn't it? So there's my first apology out the way. What else is there? Right, the competition from last week.
Yeah, man.
Barry's competition that
Stephen run.
and I
It
organised.
was my idea, and Stephen got to organise it. I let him.
So, what is the prize? Can you remember?
It was a tent, an AutoPot setup, 315, and a choice of Hydrotops or Buddha's tree feed.
Yeah,
For everything.
with Eco Thrive Cocoa,
With
with
Eco,
Perlite, and
yeah.
a bit of charge, a bit of Biosis.
Yeah.
Carbaware fan and filter. Did you mention them?
No.
Yeah,
I didn't know they were
Carbaware.
in it, really.
Carbaware filter.
Has he
Carbaware
threw them
fan.
in, has he?
Well, he doesn't know he has yet, but he is.
Oh, it's right, nice one.
I'm telling him he is.
Yeah.
And so that's the prize. How many people entered? Josh? Is it 20, 25? Something like that. So we are not doing the winner till the end of the
gonna do it at
podcast.
the end.
So you motherfuckers have to watch the full podcast. And we're going to ask a member of the audience watching to pick a number between 3 and 8. The first person to comment will take that. But you don't comment yet because we're going to do that in a minute. Then we will randomise the list of entrants that many times, and the person in position number 1 is the chosen winner. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to pick them at the end. So good luck to everybody that has entered, and thank you to everybody that has entered. What else was there? I'm sure there was something else. No? We good? We get on with the podcast?
Let's go,
Okay, then. Podcast 172. First of all, before we start, thank you to the partners.
PGR's here, we come for you.
Oh, he's getting good.
Sick, man.
172. Was that funny? Was that funny, Piara?
Was it good?
Yeah, just let your face know, mate.
Yeah,
Well,
fucking
smile,
hell.
make it feel as though you're making people laugh.
Your missus
you know?
must be up the wall.
Podcast 172 PGRs were coming for you.
Like that,
yeah.
Off that fucking
that
cuff,
shit.
that was-
And on the back end of that joke,
I don't need you, get out.
thank you. Do you want me to?
No, fuck that.
Yeah,
You've
that
gone
would
all
be
science on me.
funny, wouldn't it? So the partners, AutoPot,
CANNA.
AutoPot. You got to follow these people on Instagram as well. Give them some love. AutoPot Consultancy. You got to follow them on Instagram. CANNA. They should have an Instagram very soon.
Hopefully.
Next week or months. So when they do, make sure you follow them. SANlight LED. Follow them on Instagram. Revolution Microelectronics. Make sure you get on them on Instagram. And Can Filters, but the European people. Make sure you can Filters EU. Make sure you follow them. And the people bring it all together. Highlight Horticulture. What a great bunch of people.
Oh, yes.
Look, you've even got the lighter there right in front of you, haven't you? You know, I gave you a cup, Barry, to put your can of Sprite in.
I know, mate, but
Because, you know, make it look
I'm
nice.
doing me bit, mate, look.
Yeah,
You see that?
So let's get into it. And yes, I will be reading because I want to make sure my information is absolutely on point. I don't want any people telling me off. First bit to mention is that PGRs, for everyone that's just joined, are plant growth regulators, which are hormones that regulate plant growth. And they're defined by FIFRA, the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide and Rodenticide Act, which is... Rodenticide, yes, rodents. And it's an American agency. America's really good, actually, because in each individual state, they regulate what's in the product. And if you don't state what's in the product, then they'll just withdraw your product. So America's doing good things. Much ahead, but they've still got stuff to learn. They've still got stuff to regulate. And we're going to move on to this, but mycobutanil, that is going to be... If I find, and people are going to realise this over the podcast, we're going to try and make a difference. I'm going to explain how later on the podcast, but it's going to essentially be a GoFundMe page or a crowdfund page. I'm going to explain more later, remind me. But mycobutanil If I find that in any product, I don't even care about getting taken to court. I'm going to put them on podcast, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Why is that bad?
Bad.
See, I'm not up to date with all this, lad. To be
I
dead
wasn't.
honest with you, so
Mycobutanil.
I'm half looking forward to asking you and burning your head out.
I only found that out 3 days ago about mycobutanil. Never heard of it before. It's a baddie. And we'll explain why in this podcast. So the first thing that we need to get across, though, is PGRs. What do you think when you hear PGRs?
Like steroids, isn't it?
Yeah. And good, bad?
Bad.
Yeah, that's what everybody's assumption is.
Yeah.
But PGRs are natural as well. So
I know you can get them naturally by 2 natural products come together. It can create like some sort of, or it can act like there's a PGR in there. Is that right?
yeah, you're on about
Yeah.
the products that can act like PGRs, but are actually natural plants.
Yeah.
Chitin is one, or chitin. I always
Yeah, I've
call
heard
it
of that
chitin.
one, chitin.
And there's a few others, we're going to mention them at the end. But there's 5 actually within plants, and they're in humans as well. But they're called auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid, and ethylene. They're natural hormones, and they regulate growth to the PGRs. But they're naturally occurring within the plant. Things like Clonex, they've got naturally occurring hormones to promote root growth. Yeah. So that's not bad. And because they're naturally occurring, there's very little side effects, or we have yet to find out about the side effects, but a lot of research has been done on the naturally occurring ones. It's the synthetic ones that cause the problem. Right. And specifically, what I've learned is the gibberellins. So gibberellin, to give you an overview, a group of hormones that stimulate cell division and elongation of the plants. Gibberellic acid, GA, was the first of a class to be discovered, and this causes bolting, which is the stem stretching basically. And gibberellic acid is also applied to certain plants to promote larger fruits. So what synthetic PGRs, so gibberellin can cause bolting, stretching of the plant. So a synthetic PGR like diminazide, paclobutazol, can inhibit gibberellin and stop the internodes from stretching. So a lot of people put them in flowering to stop that stretching and flowering, keep the plants short and stocky, and it means that and also leads to bigger fruit sets as well. So if you want to do some research, it's the PGRs that inhibit gibberellin, these gibberellin pathways that are the bad ones, and these are the synthetic ones. And PGRs were discovered in the 1920s and 30s. Been used in agriculture for decades, the bad ones and the good ones. But over time, we've come to realise that certain PGRs, most of the synthetic ones, I should say, can have detrimental effects on human health. The biggest one is called, the people in the US will know it's called the alar scare. And alar was the trading name of a diminazide product, and they were spraying it all over the apples, so that the whole US apple industry was spraying alar on it, which means that they were ripening on the tree, which is great because they can just be picked, and they would stop them from falling, so they would fatten on the tree, still getting supplied with nutrients and water, ripen up, and they could just be picked from the tree. Because you can imagine in the apple industry in the US, how many apples hit the ground, rot, go to waste. So it cost them millions of pounds. So they'd start spraying this on, it would increase weight, they would ripen on the branch, and they would lose a lot less to loss on the floor. But it was called the alar scare because they found out that, I think I've written it actually, it was in the 1970s. It cost the US apple industry over $100 million, and it was the diminazide, deemed by the US government as a probable human carcinogen. And this particular type of PGR interferes with hormonal pathways. That's called it, and it's often regarded as a plant growth retardant. So it's stopping the plant from doing what it would do naturally. Something else that I need to mention is that if people go and do their own research, then what you might find is research done on paclobutazol, diminazide, chloramiquoc chloride. It's a hard one to get your lips around. And there's another one as well, there's the big 4, the most popular ones, and the other one is uniconazole, something like that. It's hard to say.
This is all about you, this podcast.
Yeah, you ask the questions.
It's all about you.
I'll try and do the answers. You do the questions. So they're the big 4, and when they're used on edible crops, then they're ingested. They're used in small amounts, but then you should wash your fruit before you eat it. It's ingested. If there is any residue left over, it's metabolized by the strong stomach acid and by the body, and it goes into large intestine, small intestine. It's basically, it's not that harmful, or it's not harmful at all.
But you should always wash your fruit and veg anyway.
And it's metabolized by the human body. It doesn't cause any problems. The problem comes when you combust these products. So if you grow your own tobacco, I think it might even be illegal to grow your own tobacco in some countries, but if you do grow your own tobacco, we did have our tobacco farm. And in
what about cooking them?
Cooking them would completely get rid.
Like oven cooking? Fan-assisted oven?
Oh, we're getting fancy now. Just had a new kitchen, have we?
No, you know what I mean? No, don't you? It's like...
You know what, I didn't think about that though, but it's still, I wonder, is it your oven can operate at 220 degrees, doesn't it? Yeah. When you combust something, you'd have to check the temperature. But when you cook something, it could alter it in the oven, and then you eat it, and you're still eating it, aren't you? Yeah. But when you combust something like tobacco, I'm going to mention it as well, even though it does happen in the UK, but even though it's illegal in the UK, in countries where it is legal, in America, and in Barcelona and in Holland, you combust cannabis, and that is a massive problem that these countries have. In US, they're starting to do a bit more regulation, but they've been finding these are classed as insecticides as well, so they are regulated for ornamental plants. They've been finding these products on cannabis plants, and you combust cannabis to take it, don't you? So when you combust in it, it has a completely different effect. You inhale it. It goes straight into the lungs, then straight into the bloodstream, and this is where it is a probable or highly carcinogenic product. So you need to be careful when you're doing your research, because eating something and it being safe is completely different from combusting something and it being very, very dangerous, probable carcinogenic. Some of the things that you want to look at when you're doing your own research, because I really urge everybody to do the research, because it's going to lead to the point to get to at the very end of the podcast. There's things called, you might see things come up as called the LD50, and that stands for the lethal dose 50, and it's used on rats. So most chemicals are tested on rats and mice first, and the lethal dose 50 is the amount of product in milligrams per kilogram of rat that kills 50%. So if you've got 100 rats and you gave them, I think it's 400 milligrams of diminizide per kilogram of body weight, that will kill 50% of the rats, and they call that the lethal dose 50. The lower the lethal dose 50 is, the more toxic the product. The higher the lethal dose 50 is, the safer the product is. If you've got a product that's 5 kilos per kilo of body weight to kill 50% of the rats, then it's unlikely that any rat's going to consume that. It's impossible. So it's deemed safe. So that's something that you've got to focus on. If you're doing your own research, LD50, that's what that means. What are some of the others? So the main thing is, are they on food, or are you going to be combusting these products? That's another thing. So it might be deemed safe on tomatoes when they're being eaten after being washed. But if you're using that, and it says that this chemical is good to use for ripening tomatoes and keep them short and stocky and adding weight, but if you combust that product, you've got to make sure you're making that, seeing a difference in the research. So there's some things to think about when you are doing your own research. I want to get into the good ones. I want people to understand what hormones do within a plant. So natural regulation of plant hormones comes via environmental cues and receptors. Traditionally, 5 major classes of hormones, and these are endogenous, meaning the plant produces themselves. First one are auxins. And have you ever seen what happens? You've grown like little plants on the windowsill, haven't you? Yeah. So what happens when you put your plant on the windowsill? What happens to the plant? What shape does it make?
I don't know what you mean.
So on the windowsill, does the plant just go straight up?
No, it goes to the window, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's going to the light.
Have you ever wondered why that happens?
Because it's going for the light.
Yeah, so that is the reason that it's moving there. But the plant, there's got to be something happening within the plant for it to do that, and that's auxins. They develop on the dark side of the plant, pushing the plant towards the light, because obviously the plant wants to move towards the light. So that's what auxins are. They promote stem elongation. They inhibit the growth of lateral buds sideways. And they're produced in the stem, buds and root tips. An example is indole acetic acid, IA. I think that might be found in Clonix as well. Auxin is a plant hormone produced in the stem tip promotes cell elongation. So this is what causes the plant to grow. Again, it says here, auxins move to the darker side of the plant, causing the cells there to grow larger than the other side. And this produces a curving of the plant stem towards the light. And this is called phototropism. Little interesting fact there for you.
This is blowing my mind. I don't think I've said anything yet.
No, but ask the questions.
I'm going to.
Because I've had to write it down because I need it. This information is just not the front of my brain. I've had to do this research and make sure I'm giving the right facts out. So if anything I'm saying or reading does make sense, make sure you're asking. Also, any questions, because we'll get to them as well. There's another, the gibberellins. So these are a group of hormones that stimulate cell division, elongation in plants, and normally as gibberellic acid. And the gibberellic acid is applied to certain plants to promote larger fruits. So this is where the synthetic PGRs play a role. They inhibit the gibberellin from acting, or the increased gibberellin production. Next one is cytokinins, another natural one. They again promote cell division, produced in growing areas such as the tip of the shoot. And zeatin is a hormone in this class, occurs in corn, ZEA. You've got abscisic acid, promotes seed dormancy by inhibiting cell growth. And it's also involved in the opening and closing of stomata. So that is, when that happens, that's abscisic acid. And then lastly, you've got ethylene. You know what ethylene is, but you don't know that you know. So when you've got...
sounds like a pencil or something.
What happens when you put a brown banana with green bananas? Have you ever noticed?
Lots of green bananas go brown as well.
Yeah, they turn browner quicker because the banana is producing ethylene, and ethylene tells other fruits that it's time to ripen. So it's how plants get all the fruits to try and ripen at once. So once one apple or banana starts to ripen, it produces ethylene and tells the rest of the plants that it's time to ripen up. Bitches.
Clever, that, isn't it?
Plants are clever. And they're the 5 main hormonal groups within plants. So a lot of the time, they don't just work individually, they work in tandem. So as one increases, one might decrease, or they might increase together in different parts of the plant. Yeah. And this is where it gets interesting. So, topping a plant or fimming a plant, what you're doing is you're messing with the plant's hormone. Yeah. So things like cytokinin produced in the meristems at the tip of the shoot. So when you pinch that off, you're basically pinching off the most concentrated part of the cytokinin. So when you do that, you increase the chance of the hormone, and you increase lateral growth. So that's how you produce. All to do with hormones in the plant, and that's what's happening within them. They all have regulatory functions, inhibit or increase cellular growth or activity, and they often work in tandem, which is what I've just said. So I do know this shit. I've written it down in case I forget.
Clever little bastard, aren't you?
No, it's all Wikipedia, isn't it? So the PGRs that interfere with hormonal pathways, in particular gibberellins, and their biosynthesis seems to be the most dangerous. Let's get into the good stuff. But before we do, I want to see if there's any comments that are worth mentioning. So I'm just going to say hello to everybody that's joined. If anybody's got any questions to ask, do ask them. Even if they seem stupid, there's no stupid questions to do with PGRs or any subject. And if you've got questions completely off topic, then when Barry has his little stint away, and he might not be here at one Wednesday, I'll go through all of the questions that you've asked over the last few live podcasts, and we'll answer them live.
He's absolutely shook to bits, isn't he, Josh? Like I might not be here on Wednesday.
You know why? Because it's like me and you having a conversation.
He's shook to bits.
Yeah,
who's going to sit here with you?
No, I'm just going to stare at the plant.
We'll put the plants on the seat.
It wouldn't be much different, would they?
Not on this podcast, no, mate. Okay, now.
So there are a few questions here, but we'll answer them through them. To be honest, you know what happens? People ask questions, and then most of the other people watching in are answering. It's great. What else? Who's been asking questions on Instagram? Loads of people joined. And if you're listening to the podcast and you want to ask questions, the best place to do it is watching live on YouTube, or follow us on Instagram, and you get to ask all your questions on there. Or, if you don't like social media, then... What are you whispering about?
This Reggie one.
Reg, you know, if you do something, mate, to me, I will
Josh.
hate you.
Get him out.
So the Kush Bros, probably from America, they asked what feeds contain PGRs. So you all need to stay tuned, because at the end of the podcast, we're going to
Are you going to name
start
some?
to find out. Yeah, I'm going to name 2 that contain PGRs, and we are going to get to the bottom of this. So eventually, it may take a month. That would be amazing. It may take 6 months, it may take 2 years. We are going to find out every product that contains PGRs, because, and I haven't mentioned this because you sort of assume people know. If you're putting PGRs onto your food, then the regulatory bodies say that it
Should be
is
labelled on the bottle.
definitely, and is a probable cause of cancer. Maybe it could be unlikely.
But I still want to fucking know if it is.
Yeah. So you can make that choice.
Yeah.
But if you combust them, such as tobacco, and in countries where it's
Definitely
legal,
gonna cause
cannabis, it's gonna cause you harm. Definitely. A lot of people. So in the UK, CBD's been made legal. Do we know, hand on heart, 100% that the companies producing this CBD in the UK are not using products that either they know contain PGRs,
Or that they don't know.
or that they don't know, which is worse, to be honest,
yeah.
because we can catch people out who use PGRs. But if the people using products that are containing PGRs, then we need to find out, and that's what I'm going to make it my mission to find out. So to answer your question, we don't know, and even if it did know, then saying that a product contains a cancer-causing product will put me in the firing line, and I'll probably end up in court.
So what are we going to do? We're going to get them tested?
I'm going to get them tested. We're going to send them to a government-certified lab, and if the data comes back and says that it's got a PGR
Can't be
in it,
open like a thing on a...
but we're going to say that at the end. Don't spoil your surprise.
I've just thought of it. I don't know what you're on about.
No, you haven't just thought of it.
Can't we put something on a web page, like a page that says PGRs, and you can click on it and you can see every product that's got PGRs
Oh,
in
we're
it.
going to do better than that.
And even the ones that haven't got PGRs.
Oh, we're going to promote them massively.
Yeah.
So,
and we'll put what their products got in it.
Yeah.
They'll be fuming though.
But
because
listen,
every other company's going to start copying their
if I
recipes.
did know,
and
so a
all
lot
that.
of people say no, that there's a few products that could contain PGRs, and I'm a little bit suspicious of a few products. But if I name them, then and they haven't got PGRs in them, they're going to take me to court. They're going to sue me for slander or libel or whatever it's called, and I'm going to lose a lot of money. So we take it to a government certified lab, and when I get that piece of paper and says certified by that lab, it's not me that gets in trouble. It's the lab, because they're government certified, and they can take me
we're
to
going to test everything.
We're going to test everything, but it's costly, and that's where we're going to get to. We need everybody's help. YouTube, Instagram, the people who come in the shop, the nutrient owners. But stop pulling it out to me. We're going to get to that at the end. Let me see if there's any more questions.
I've got to do the best bits.
Coach, as well, on the podcast, as I'm looking through questions, you need to take out these sort of pauses, because people watching, it's all right. They can see us. People listening, it's like, why have they all gone dead quiet? I'm going to make myself a cup of tea.
I'll have one.
So someone said there, why use PGRs? Get environment right. You don't need that shit. Absolutely spot on. But we have lazy people.
But there might be people that are using something what they like and they don't know it contains a PGR.
So that's a good point. One, see, there's a reason why that plant's not sat there. You do make good points, don't you?
I know I do.
So one, they don't realise that it's got PGRs and it's not their fault. And we have got a duty of care for those people. They could be using that for their own medicine. You never know. And also, you've just said, just get your environment right. So it can be a little bit hard work to get your environment right. Some people are lazy, throw in 10 ml of a bottle, and they don't need to get their environment right. It's just...
Some people can't afford to get the environment right.
Yeah. And so they just take the cheap, easy method and use PGRs.
Yeah.
So, what else have we got? UK Outdoor said they cause cancer. It's the probable cause of cancer. Northwest Flame said they didn't know about PGR. Well, to be honest, that's the point of the podcast. It's to educate, because not a lot of people do.
Do you know, like...
So there's all... I've managed to get through all the comments.
You know, like all the stuff in Dobbies and stuff like that?
Yeah.
tomato feeds, cucumber feeds,
Yeah.
specialist onion feeds.
They're
cabbage
actually
feeds.
more regulated than our stuff.
How's that?
Because the
this happened?
multi-million pound companies that can't get away with it. And when I say multi-million, CANNA's a multi-million pound company. And I would be very surprised if they contain PGRs. I'm actually very confident
So we
that
just
they
need
don't.
tighter regulations.
We need some sort of
And a
regulation.
man to do it.
I'm not going to be a regulatory body, but I'm going to start it.
Yeah.
And I'll jump out of that chair as soon as a regulatory body wants to come in. The regulation will start to come in when hydroponics is, I'll say it outright, when CBD is legalized and people are allowed to grow their own CBD plants, it will become regulated. And if we ever get to a point like America, Canada, Argentina, Spain, and you can grow your own,
the rest of the world,
yeah, and you can grow your own cannabis, then it will be very tightly regulated. And
but
that's
it should
where
be
it
now
can be a
anyway.
bit safer.
It's still an industry to.
Oh yeah, Josh is fiddling, isn't he? Something's happened there to the.
What's this, Barry Pong? What are you doing, Josh? If this Reg has got you up to something, mate,
He's got nothing.
I'll turn the telly off, mate.
So, it's good to learn. I've only ever used CANNA, and I know for a fact no PGRs and that's all I use. Yeah. So YouTube's gone down.
I think the people that use them.
Shit.
I think the people that use them probably know they're using them.
Yeah.
It's a shame that the people who who don't know what they're using need educating a bit more, don't they?
Yeah. The people who don't know to use them, but how do you educate them? Like, and I don't want to name any brands because it's not fair, but if you're using brand Z,
I know brands that's got it in.
we'll tell
But it's not official.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get the paperwork.
The whole
to back
industry
it up.
knows, though, that. And I can say these for a fact because I've had them tested multiple times, and a lot of people have had them tested. Fruit Machine contains bad PGRs. Yeah. So if you're a shop in the UK that sells Fruit Machine and have listened to this podcast, you are knowingly selling a product that causes cancer.
You fucking rat.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. Rocks is another one I'm told contains PGRs. Sounds, yeah, I know for a fact Fruit Machine does. And it's not regulated. Something called Rocks.
Is it illegal PGRs to sell it with it in it? Is it? That's the thing.
What they'll say is, I don't know if they do sell it because I haven't had a bottle of Fruit Machine in my shop ever. It should say on the bottom for ornamental use only.
Yeah, that's what it should say.
And the shops that sell it should selling it to people that are growing ornamental plants.
Yeah.
Like our lovely
Which is fine. So you can still have it in the shop.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as you're telling them people that's for ornamental plants, it's not for consumption.
Yeah. And I think so. What people do, people that are listening on podcast, yeah, I do always anyway. Josh just said ignore them. So people that want to go away and do their own research, then if you can Google PGRs, and it's the state of Oregon, California, I think New York have got, Oregon have got good regulatory bodies. You can go onto their websites and find out what products have got these pesticides in, and you'll find that they're regulated for ornamental use. This is where like people are getting away with it. They're allowed to sell them for ornamental use, but no one's regulating the fact that it's ornamental use. In America, even the bacteria are regulated. So if you go onto these websites, you can see things like Bacillus subtilis, Bacillus thuringiensis, Bacillus amelioquafaciens, brilliant products that do not cause cancer because it's bacterial and they work against the plant. Even they're regulated and use on edible crops to get rid of powdery mildew, pythium, all that sort of stuff. So it's a deep subject, and there's a lot to learn about. And I want this to be an overview. I want this to be a little bit of an awakening to PGRs, and it would be great to have some guests on it that know a lot about PGRs. So you can look forward to that in the future. Let me give you some facts about the bad shit. Paclobutrazol, PBZ, it's normally dialed down to, plant growth retardant, and triazole fungicide, so stops growth and is good for funguses. Known antagonist of gibberellin, an and works by inhibiting gibberellin biosynthesis, reduces internodal growth to give stouter stems, increases root growth, causes early fruit set, and increases seed set in plants as tomatoes and peppers. It's also been shown to reduce frost sensitivity in plants, and paclitaxel can be used as a chemical approach for reducing the risk of lodging in cereal crops. It's used by arborists to reduce shoot growth and has been shown to have additional positive effects on trees and shrubs. Among those are improved resistance to drought stress, darker green leaves, and higher resistance against fungal and bacteria infections, enhanced development of root growth, and lots of other stuff. So, paclitaxel, that's why it's not been banned, because in America there's some good pictures and they've got the trees growing underneath electricity pylons. They will smash that stuff with paclitaxel, because also it's been found that it doesn't last long in the soil. When the plant takes it up, it stays in the plant, so it doesn't tend to have that much of an effect on aquatic life.
Anyone picking fucking apples off a tree underneath the thing, yeah.
No, they wouldn't. This is like
this
these
is just ornamental. Yeah, so I can
trees.
understand them putting it in that.
So that's why if people say, why don't you just ban it? Because it's got some good
uses.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need a tree to stop fucking growing.
Which is fine to do that, but we're talking more about the edibles and stuff like that, aren't we? Yeah. We're talking more about consumption.
I thought I had paclitaxel on my... Oh, there we go. It's an approved pesticide for use in the EU, not approved for use on consumable food products in the USA. And the other stuff on there is the World Health Organization lists paclitaxel as moderately hazardous. Paclitaxel has been shown to be an environmental contaminant, especially toxic to aquatic ecosystems. So that one actually has. Based on the currently available toxicity information, causes adverse effects on liver function and developmental effects in rodents. But in the absence of additional data to the contrary, paclitaxel has the potential to cause similar effects in humans. So what they're saying is we haven't tested it on humans, but looking at the data and what happens in rats, it's likely it could cause that in humans as well. Yeah. So even though basically there's no evidence on humans, so that's allowed to be used on certain crops, but again, it comes down to that. What you eat and what you combust, completely different reactions. Diminazide, an approved pesticide for EU. That's why we need to fucking get out the EU. They approve fucking everything. Not approved for consumable food products in the USA. Used on fruit trees to affect flower initiation. And in 1989, in the US, it became illegal to use on food crops, but it's still allowed on non-food crops like ornamentals. Which is fine. Chlormiquat chloride, approved in the EU as a pesticide, not approved for use on consumable food products in the US. When it says approved in the EU, again, ornamentals. Chlormiquat chloride increases crop yields by diverting the energy of vegetative growth towards the development of flowers and fruits. Beneficial effects include increased chlorophyll content, extensive root development, early and uniform ripening, prevention of fruit and flower drop. Classified as an extremely hazardous substance in the USA due to findings showing liver damage in mammal studies and not approved for use on crops intended for use in food or animal feed. Exposure to high levels of chlormiquat has been linked to developmental toxicity in mammal studies. And in Denmark, results showed pigs with impaired reproduction after exposure. Bad shit. Here's another one that I can't even pronounce. Uniconazole. Not approved for pesticide use in EU. Prohibited use in some US states. Dramatically suppresses stem elongation and shoot growth whilst increasing the root system size. Although decreased plant height is observed, no decrease in fruit yield. This one's less studied than other PGRs, but has been found to be more potent and induce stronger effects on paclitaxel. Associated risks show signs of toxicity observed on animals at high doses, and risks include decreased activity, poor coordination, irregular respiratory and liver toxicity in mammalian studies. I haven't come across a synthetic PGR that you could drink, let's put it that way. No. They're all dangerous. We've talked about diminazide, plant growth regulator. It's called, also known, this is helpful for people as well, also known as ALAR, KYLAR, B9, DMASA, SADH or B995. So if you come across those products or use them, stop using them. Let's get on to mycobutanil. This one's interesting and will get you interested. Josh, are we live? Are we back on YouTube? Live? Cool. Refresh. The mycobutanil is an interesting one because it says it is a triazole chemical used as a fungicide. Steroid, I'm not even going to start saying that. It's a steroid demethylation inhibitor. Wow, that's even boring to me. Let's get to the interesting stuff. So, it decomposes to produce corrosive and toxic fumes. This is the point that I need to get across. Decomposes to produce corrosive and or toxic fumes, including carbon monoxide. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up or thumbs down, Barry? Carbon monoxide. It's just all thumbs down. You always get confused with carbon dioxide.
I fell asleep with this podcast, mate. He's fucking science me out, mate. I'm just looking at him as if I was looking through him then. Didn't even know he was speaking to me. I was thinking, wow, this kid's gone fucking bananas on me.
I've had to.
He's PGR bananaed.
You can't do a friendly PGR podcast because I need to let people know that the science has been done so that you can believe me. Like, I'm not saying this shit lightly. Carbon, when it decomposes, causes carbon monoxide. You know that silent deadly gas that kills loads of people? Yeah. That's that one. Carbon dioxide, the stuff that we breathe out. Not meant to breathe that shit in. That will also kill you in high doses. Hydrogen fucking chloride. Here's the best one.
That's a bad one, isn't it?
Yeah, here's the best one. Hydrogen cyanide.
Oh, fuck me.
So,
cyanide.
I don't know if, like, I didn't ask him to, so I'll be very surprised if he has. But Josh, if there's mycobutanil on the slide to show people behind us, let's get that up. If not, I will describe it right now.
Which?
Mycobutanil. So, on the screen, so mycobutanil, look at the chemical structure of it, Google it. And what you'll notice is there's 3 lines connected to a H, and the other 3 lines are connected to a C. That's the hydrogen cyanide. Mycobutanil is fine when you use it on foods, no problem, gets ingested by the body, doesn't break down that 3 bond, which is really hard to break down, and just passes through the body, not a problem. The big problem is, again, when you combust it. When you combust it, being at a high temperature, cleaves off that 3 bonds, and you're breathing in hydrogen cyanide.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
So if you are using any products that contain mycobutanil, and you combust them...
There it is, isn't it?
That's chlorobutanol. So my MYCO, butanil, is BUTANIL. If the people listening on the podcast want to Google it, and people watching live will be able to see it on the screen behind us. Mycobutanil is banned in Canada, Colorado, Washington, and Oregon. Yeah. So if you look on Google, listen on the podcast, or you're on YouTube, I'm going to take the people listening on podcast to see that screen. So see that 3. It's gone then. The C and the N with the 3. That's cyanide. And when you combust it,
that's fucking heavy shit, that.
You're breathing in hydrogen cyanide. Woohoo! That's a party starter right there, isn't it? Aye. Look at Red. You read your tear around when I said party starter. It's heavy shit. So it's banned outright in Canada, Colorado, Washington, and Oregon for the production of medical and recreational cannabis. However, despite the Canadian ban, mycobutanil has been discovered in medical cannabis produced by at least 1 government licensed grower. In Michigan, the current state action limit for mycobutanil is, get on this, 200 parts per billion in cannabis products, which is not even trace amounts. It's like infinitesimally small. So just let that fucking sink in. I've got to the end of the science. I've got that out the way while people are still...
Say it in normal terms now.
Don't use PGRs. They will fuck your life up. Some of them, people... So I'm going to preempt some of the things that people are going to say. Oh, but I've smoked tobacco for years and it hasn't caused me any problems.
Yeah, well, it fucking will, lad.
There's a thing called bioaccumulation. And that means that for every 20 cigarettes you smoke, you might build up a 0.1%.
I don't smoke, mate.
I know you don't. You just quit, haven't you?
No,
You've got a patch on. Well done, Barry lad. I have been on it for a long time, haven't I? Yeah. See how long this one lasts.
I'm not a quitter.
What was I saying?
I don't know.
You lost me. So have a breather. Have a rest. That's the science out the way for everyone that wants to tune back in.
Yeah, it's well it,
everyone that's carried on watching. Well done. Well done.
Well done. Give them a prize.
Yeah, I will. Everyone gets a prize for getting through this one. You mentioned, didn't you, naturally occurring PGRs, like the 5 you mentioned. But there's other products out there that act like PGRs, but actually aren't classified as PGRs. So one of them is I always say this wrong, chitin, whatever it is, derived from organic molecules found in the exoskeletons of crustaceans and is found in charge by EcoThrive.
Yeah.
That's why it
That's
works
where
so
I've
well.
heard of it.
Yeah. And from mantis shrimps and beetles.
What did you say before that those found in what? Skeletons?
Exoskeletons. You know, beetles, our bones on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, insects tend to have their structure
On the outside.
Exoskeletons. And when you break that down, beetles, that is chitin. Chitin. However way you want to say it. A vastly abundant biodegradable product with a low molecular weight. No, there's a bit of science. Sorry, it's not over yet. When it's applied as a foliar or soil drench, it's been found to exhibit PGR qualities. And NASA have also taken interest experimenting with chitosan to aid plant growth in space. Increases photosynthesis, plant growth, stimulates nutrient uptake, and seed propagation. So that's a really good one. Terpenoid production, flavonoid production increases in resinous plant species. So my goal is to take people off using PGRs that you know about, fruit machine, rocks. Find a way of investigating products that we don't know contain PGRs. So in my eyes, it's not good enough to just not know and use them.
Yeah.
We need to find out what has, what hasn't, and make an educated decision.
I want to test everything.
Are we going to test everything?
I want to test everything.
Is the last one.
Everything, all the top
before
brands,
we get to
all
the
the lower
prize.
brands and all the shitty brands.
And
I
my
want to test
shout
everything.
out.
All the additives, everything.
Absolutely everything. We need to know.
Yeah.
Tricantanol. Now this is in Canna Boost, but tricantanol is a plant growth stimulant found in a variety of natural sources: alfalfa meal, sugarcane, beeswax. Seaweed. I thought it was. I've told as many people as would listen to me.
That's what you've told me as well.
Yeah. Tricantanol is found in seaweed, but seaweed produces natural PGRs, so and amino acids and vitamins. Seaweed is a phenomenal product. Everybody should use seaweed, because especially in times of stress with the plants. But apparently not tricantanol. That's what I got wrong. Someone told me that a long time ago. It's a fatty alcohol, sometimes referred to as malicyl or maracyl alcohol. It's non-toxic, environmentally friendly, safe to consume. Research has shown tricantanol to be a powerful growth stimulant affecting the metabolism, photosynthesis, enzyme activity, nutrient uptake, CO2 assimilation, and more. And in the correct doses, tricantanol significantly increases the amount of chlorophyll in leaves. Studies have shown the application of tricantanol as foliar feed increases yields dramatically. There's the end of the science. We can just have a little chat now. So, let's decline that phone call.
Stop smoking, Josh. You're just rubbing it in.
So, someone said there, can you tell the difference between PGR, cannabis, and non-PGR? So, Newts and Roots, probably an American grower from where it's a legal state. I've asked, no, you can't.
No.
You can't tell from a picture that a product has got plant growth regulators.
The only way you tell, the only way is by testing it.
So, see, again, anyone that's just joined, we said at the beginning that PGRs are not good or bad. It depends on the PGR. Tricantanol, it's not shown to, it's not dangerous for human consumption, whether combusted or whether eaten directly. Been proven to be safe. But the synthetic PGRs, the ones we've talked about all podcasts, your diminazide, your paclobutazoles, your clomiquat chloride, your mycobutanol.
So what are we going to do about it, Steve?
What are we going to do about it? You want to get into it, do you?
Yeah, I want to get into it.
So I need people listening on Instagram, people watching on YouTube, and there are thousands of people listening on podcasts.
We're going to do like a big campaign.
We're going to do a campaign.
And what are we
It's
gonna
about
do?
time somebody fucking did something. So in the UK, my idea, I thought about this last week. I've thought a little bit about it, and I need the pros and cons. My idea is to set up a crowdfund page or a GoFundMe.
How much is it to get a product tested?
One product tested for one PGR
For
costs,
one PGR?
Yeah, for one PGR.
Fucking hell.
Last time I checked, I might be able to... The person that, when I contacted the lab, they did say, the more you test and the more bottles will do a deal. All right? So it could be cheaper. Well, for now, each product, each PGR costs £250. And
So if you test it for 4 PGRs,
would cost
one bottle costs
£1,000.
£1,000.
Yeah. But
Fuck me.
it could be cheap. So that's why no one's doing it. No,
Fuck.
I'm not doing it. Other shops aren't doing it.
I
Wholesalers aren't
think
doing
if
it.
your product hasn't got it,
You should get it tested and print those results.
and print those results.
Are people going to do it? Why haven't they done it yet? I'm asking people now. I'm asking CANNA. I'm asking Dutch Pro. I'm asking CX
Advanced
Hydroponics,
Nutrients.
Advanced Nutrients, Hydrotops,
Tops.
Buddha's Tree,
See,
Bloom, Mills.
it's
Growth
£1,000
technology.
to get it printed off, send it to us, and we'll put all our data online. Or if you don't do it, we're going to do it anyway. So why not be first on the list to say, yeah, man,
So
there's our
says,
data.
I can tell if it's been grown with PGR.
You
The
can't.
cannabis is completely different. But there's certain strains, there's certain genetics that grow that look like PGRs. And I have seen them grown with PGRs that look a little bit fluffy. So tricantanol is a PGR. It can turn out fluffy. It's a lot to do with the environment. And I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. There's a certain look that plants get when they've been used with PGRs. But you could not line up 100 products that all look the same and guarantee me 100% that every single one of them's got PGRs. It's not a scientific way of doing it, and I can't stand up in court and say, but it looked like it had PGRs, so, you know.
That van's running on red diesel. It looked like it was.
Yeah, the
can't
colour
do
of
it
the
then,
fume.
yeah.
So you're probably right, but you can't stand up in court. And I'm going to put my neck on the line, and if I die through a car crash, you know someone's tried to get me. That's what's happening. What else? So he said, Canna Boost is fucking shite and expensive. Better products out there than Boost. It's personal preference, isn't it? Personal preference. It could be a lot of time people use products in the summer, have high temperatures, and class the nutrient that used as shite. I'm not saying that's what happened with you. People have just got their own preferences. But I would put my neck out on the line and say that Canna Boost is very, 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 very unlikely to have negative cancer-causing PGRs. It has tricantanol in it, but that has been proven to be safe. And nearly every I'll be honest, I've had a lot of the products in the industry tested. I know what has potentially got PGRs in it, and I know what other ingredients that they've used. And we need to, but I can't stand up in court. If somebody decides to go, let's sue that bastard, then I can't stand up in court. But with what I want to do with the crowdfunding or GoFundMe page is that I can take these products to a lab that is government certified and get them tested. And when I've got that printout, then I can stand up in any court and country and say, that is my defence, and it takes me out of it. They can no longer sue me. They can sue this government tested lab. So the proposal is, I'm going to set it up this week. We will list as many. What we'll start off with, the PKs and the boosters.
So where are we
and the
going to
additives.
list these on our website?
Going to put it on the website. Going to promote it on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. It's probably
No, is there just like a thing where we can say to people, if you're worried
to
about
this
your product,
website.
go to our website and go on that page, the PGR page.
Eventually, yeah. But before that, we're setting up the GoFundMe page because, so here it is.
But that's what I'm saying.
If 10
You're
people
opening
now,
a
GoFundMe
page, and that's to fund getting products tested.
So,
but I think now, I'm just going to say it randomly. Let's say your Buddha's Tree. It's going to cost you £1,000 to get your product tested.
So they can go to the GoFundMe page.
Why not be top of the list and go, bam, there's our data. Put it on your website and let everyone see that.
No.
We don't use that.
They can fund my GoFundMe page and I'll get it tested and I'll see the results and then I'll put it top of their list.
But can't you just... Where would you use to get it tested? What?
I'm not gonna tell the lab because I don't know if I'm allowed to tell the lab. But it's once I'm going to ring them, say to them, this is what I'm doing. Can I say that it's your lab? And so I don't want to name the lab because I haven't done enough research. If they
How many government labs out there is there?
Not many. That's why I'm not naming it. because I don't know if that would get me in trouble or not.
Naming the lab.
Yeah,
That would
I'm
get
gonna
you in
use.
trouble.
I don't know. Do you think there's any way it'd get me in trouble
No.
for naming the lab that I'm going to use?
Because if you said, I'm getting it done in Blues Lab,
yeah,
let's just say it was called Blues, I'd then say, well, Buddha's 3, send your stuff to Blues Lab
Fuck
and
it.
we'll see the... How would you get in
I
trouble
don't
for saying
know,
that?
but I don't know.
I'm getting it tested there.
Getting products tested there. I don't
So
know.
if you
If I
said
get in
to me,
trouble, I
no,
get in trouble,
no,
don't I?
but look, if you
I'm gonna say
government
it.
funded lab,
Yeah.
just wait before you say it.
Okay.
Listen to me. It's
Okay.
a government lab.
Yeah.
Everyone can
Not part
find
of
out.
this industry,
No,
not a university.
No.
It is, they are
fully
a lab.
independent lab.
Yeah, fully
government
independent.
body one or something,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is. Well, let's say it was called Blues. Well, if you name it now, then these companies who want to promote their product and aren't interested and don't use PGRs and want to be top of the list for people to go on and go, bam, there's our product, mate. We don't use it. Let's see how many of the fucking turds come out of the packet now and put theirs up as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's more process of elimination because the ones who don't put it up, we're going to test you anyway, and then you're called out.
It's a good idea.
Do you know what I mean?
So
So,
we
if Buddha's 3 turned around and said, right,
There's our whole line.
There's our whole line. You use blue governing body lab or
Yeah.
whatever it is. We're going to send our product ourselves there, and we're going to send you all the data. Well,
Okay.
that's fucking fine.
So you think I should tell them all, and then they can go to that lab and produce me that? Because what happens is with every batch. So if CANNA decide to spend £1,000 on their boost and test it for paclobutazole, diminazide, and the other two that I can never pronounce, the four baddie, real bad ones, then what happens is they comes out with a code, and everybody can check that code, go back to the lab, bring them and say, did you check for this? What did you find? And they can be sent results. So it is pretty fair. It's a good idea, actually. Shall I name it?
I'd name it.
Okay.
And let's just see by the end of next week how many people have sent us messages saying, I've sent my product to that lab.
Garden Alchemy saying, don't name it yet. Why not?
As he put it there.
Yeah, he said, don't name it yet. It's not a university, because I've got...
Give me a reason.
Why shouldn't we name it?
Do you understand what I'm saying, though? That if your Buddha's saying you don't go to this lab and you don't put it up, then we're going to call you out anyway on it, and we're going to do a GoFundMe page, and we're going to pull you out.
Garden Alchemy is saying, just ask them first.
Ask you. The
The
lab.
lab. Ring them and just say, listen, I've got a major podcast, because it is 63,000...
I'm blowing farts out of your
I
own
know I
arse
am,
now.
but listen, 65,000 downloads.
Let
I
me
got
just
in March.
check that highlight horticulture. Put it next to that
65
garden culture
listen,
magazine.
Stop. 65 fucking thousand downloads we got in March.
No, I don't know, but
So major podcast,
why is
mate.
there something that you can't say?
I don't know what I'm like.
All right, then, well, let's ring them.
Yeah, okay. We'll ring them, and then
If they can.
and I'm going to put out of respect Northwest Flavors just to be safe.
I can't see why it's a problem. It's like me saying, yeah, I send my stuff to Garden Alchemy to get tested. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Why it's...
I don't know, but I don't know. I just got a feeling, and,
Oh,
and a few people there said one's Garden Alchemy said out of respect. Northwest Flavors said just to be safe.
Yeah.
All right, let's be safe.
Yeah, I'm like a bull in
And
a
that-
china. I'm like a bull in a china shop.
He nearly convinced me to say it as well.
That's why I said stop. Just stay
Tune
the
in
house.
for next week's podcast.
Nah, but if you...
Okay,
We're opening look, here's how I look at it. We're opening a GoFundMe page. People are going to donate money. Whether it's a couple of pence, a couple of pounds.
This could be £2.
And it builds up, and we want everyone to send their name of products, which is ever at the top of the list. They're the ones that we're going to start doing. But I don't want it to cost everyone hundreds of pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want it to cost people money. I want them companies who are making fucking millions of pounds off their own product to go, nah, hang on a minute. Get our product on their website. You know what I mean? Anyone who's looking at it will go, bam, there it is.
So the basically
But
the idea is
the tops. Look, they've all got it done themselves in this certified lab, and there's the data for it.
Yeah.
The ones who aren't up there, it just
it puts pressure on them.
puts pressure on them, and we just look at them and go, yeah. So we know we're fucking testing next, and we know we're putting on podcast next, and we know we're slating for the next 6 months.
So for anyone who's just joined, I've had an idea.
You've had an idea
I had an idea.
of what?
The GoFundMe page for
Yeah,
the
but it was
PGRs.
my idea to call all the manufacturers and
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Let me get to that, Barry,
Fucking
before you
taking
blow your own
credit
trumpet.
Give credit where credit is
Fucking
due,
hell.
mate.
Is there a trombone
What do I
out
mean?
there and a trumpet and a saxophone? Hey,
I'm looking at the
Next
end
up-
consumer, mate.
violin for me and a big trumpet for Barry so he can blow it. I'm getting to you, mate. So we've had this idea. PGRs, they're all shit. Well, the synthetic ones are shit. You diminize your paclobutazole. So we're going to set up a GoFundMe page or a crowdfund page, whatever works best. And if you can afford £1, if you use a product friggin' Z, and you want to know if that product's got any bad PGRs in it, you can donate whatever you can. It could be 50p, it could be £1. When that product hits £250, I can then take that and get the product tested. I will produce receipts for absolutely everything I test. This is no single person apart from the lab who will probably make some money. No, but me, I will make no money. This is a exercise to find out and to hopefully improve and regulate the industry a little bit. I will produce every receipt. I will scan it and put it onto a document. Well, Josh will, because he's much more savvy than me. And so you will see every penny that's been taken out. You'll be able to see where that's spent. If you can afford £1 or you can afford £250 and you want to get your product tested, then we will take it to the lab. We will get it tested for this PGR and we will produce that report as well. It's going to be shitty for these companies, but it's shittier on the growers.
How is it shitty for the companies?
Because...
For the companies that haven't got it?
No,
the companies that haven't got it, mate, would be standing there now like we have phone Stephen from NPK now telling there's £1,000 going in the bank.
It is going to be
They're
shitty.
the companies...
I didn't say I felt shitty.
No, but the companies that haven't got it, £1,000, them's nothing.
Yeah.
Is it? So they'd be on the phone now saying, State, there's that's in, get that tested, lad.
Straight away.
We know it hasn't got it, but just to certify it, there it is. It's the companies that haven't got it that are going to start shitting themselves.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be shitty for them.
So I think, and I'm going to say it, I think CANNA, Buddha's Tree, Hydrotops, Mills, Dutch Pro, all them, you should all pay for your own, mate, and prove it. And that's that. Why should it cost the end consumer? Do you already buy your product?
There's the bar. Barry set it. Get your money out. Every receipt will be produced. Every batch number. This is a legit lab. I've had things tested there before. This is a super legit lab. It's government regulated. And it's time to start regulating.
And if you've got nothing to worry about.
If you've got nothing to hide, there's nothing to worry about.
No.
If you've got shit to hide, make hay
well,
while
let's
the sun
have it right.
shines.
If it comes out that it hasn't got nothing in it, we're going to promote you to bits anyway. If it's got nothing in it, you should be talked about all the time. So your sales will go up, which means you get your £1,000 back anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're like, I'm putting you in a win-win situation here.
Someone said,
you know what I mean?
Barry is on it. Stop blowing smoke up his ass. His head's big enough.
If I owned a nutrient company and I knew it didn't have PGRs,
my
fucking phone should ring any minute now. With someone saying, what's happening, lad? It's me from fucking Barry Nutrients. Here we go, lad. Where am I putting this £1,000?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I haven't got it in and I want to be number one on your list, the first kid to do it.
Yeah.
I want to set the example.
So we're testing for the first 4. If a company can do £1,250, that, to be honest, I think I'd test mycobutanil first, then diminizide, then paclobutazole, and then chloramicol chloride, because the other one I can't say and it looks silly when I try and say it. So there's the 4. Let's get them on the phones. Let's start putting the podcast. I'm going to really promote this podcast as well. So Baz's Newts, they all want to buy it. Where do we buy Baz's Newts? How much is it?
What's the mil? Something in the pipeline.
What's the mil per litre? Aye. How expensive is it? When can I have it in the shop? Baz's Newts. That'd fucking sell that as well. Are we going to get it tested? Give us £1,000, please.
I'll get mine tested. I'll drink mine in front of you.
No, don't do that. So that is the goal. If you've got...
So we're going to go back to...
What are we
we're
doing?
in the shop tomorrow morning and we're ringing all these up. And we're going to fucking tell them all.
Okay. Is that your job? You're not going to tell everyone and make it my job, are you? Barry's going to ring every nutrient company and go, what's happening? Bazza from Bazza's Newts. We're going to test your shit.
I wonder if I could sell nutrients.
You do every day in the shop.
Too busy with podcast.
So that's what we want to do. If anyone's got any... Oh, Northwest Flavours fucking wants 10% of your company for the name. You can have it. You can have it. It's fine. I'll give you permission. So that's it. Crowdfunding page, GoFundMe, a list of every additive, every PK, and then we will move on to base nutrients. Base nutrients are less likely to have PGRs in them because there's no benefit from, you put your base nutrients in when they're babies or when they're small. So there's very little benefit to having the bad PGRs. Bad PGRs are going to mostly be contained in the additives, in the PKs, in the boosters.
And in the additives. Terpenes.
Yeah.
Super
Thrive.
Super Thrive. All them.
Terpenes, Winter Frost.
Yeah.
Super Thrive. Additives from companies that haven't got a full range is what you mean, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll be testing all of them. All of them. If you've got any suggestions, make sure you send them in. People listen on podcast, email us, get in touch with us on Instagram. If you've got any thoughts or opinions on how we should do this. I don't want to be the regulatory body.
No, I want you to, you little clever bastard.
No. It's far too much work to be a regulatory body.
No, we don't need one. All we need is a website what you can go on.
And
everyone's had the stuff tested in the same labs. The manufacturers have been willing to get their own stuff tested in the labs that we provide.
Here's one for you.
And we're all happy. The ones that don't, I'm going to test you anyway.
Here's one for you. There are companies that do not make their own nutrients in-house. Yeah, so your big ones, your CANNAs, your Dutch Pros, your Mills, they make them in-house. So it's only Mills, it's only CANNA, it's only Dutch Pro, it's only those new Butters Tree, it's only their products going through their bottling facility, yeah.
So what are you saying, that's an excuse?
No. They should definitely not have it. There's other companies that will have certain products made for them and they'll ship it in.
So
if that company makes a product for ornamental plants and it contains diminazide, this is going to be a great exercise for all companies because it's going to open a few eyes. If the company that you get your product or additive bottled at happens to do, I don't know, a lab, because it's the only one I know, which is a big diminazide product, and they don't clean their machinery properly, when they come to put your product through, it could still contain trace amounts. So the companies...
So you need to find like a new fucking bottling manufacturer, someone who does clean the machinery then.
I know what you're going to say to this. They should do the tests anyway.
Yeah.
But some companies might not even know that they've got PGRs in them. But we will know because the amount of...
But how wouldn't they know?
Because if you're...
Because like what you just said, cross-contamination.
Yeah.
So who's liable?
The company that's producing the nutrient would be liable, but then they would make the company that's making it for them liable. But what I'm going to say is what difference you will see is you will see diminazide come up at a massive peak and the people that are putting it in there on purpose, or you will see trace amounts. And I think you're going to find some companies with trace amounts because there's a good few of them that don't bottle in-house.
When you say trace amounts, are you saying that's by accident?
By accident.
Well, that shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen, no. But this is going to come to light.
If you found trace amounts of fucking Fanta in your fucking bottle of Coke, would that be acceptable? Even though you can't taste it. I know you wouldn't know, but it'd be like, fucking hell, mate, there's fucking cheese and onion pie in my steak and kidney pie here, mate. Someone hasn't cleaned the fucking machine out. What's that you're going on about, mate? Nah, some cunt's liable. That's that.
I know, but it's all good. I'm not saying that this is right.
If that is happening to you as a manufacturer, then I certainly would say as well, after getting your product made, after getting your product made, you should be every now and again getting that tested yourself to make sure it is the same product with the same strengths and solutions that you have provided that company to make for you.
Mm-hmm. That was a perfect.
He's getting me on. I'm getting all fucking angry.
You've been quiet for the beginning, haven't you?
It's because you go all science and I'm not science.
I'm sorry for people that were bored listening to the science, but it had to be done. The science had to be done because the science proves, or it's the science that tells us that these products are bad.
I think that's a load of bollocks what you've just said.
No, it's not.
Saying cross-contamination.
I'm not saying that's acceptable.
Machine should be well
whoa.
out.
I didn't say it was acceptable. I said, I bet you we will find.
And that'll be the excuse?
No. It's not an excuse. It's definitely not an excuse. But that is, I think, I'm making a prediction. I think that's what we will find.
How many people do you reckon are going to put on small print on the bottles now? Ornamental use only right in the very bottom corner.
We'll see, won't we? We will see. Let's see how much of an impact this podcast has. You know what's good? Coates, you're definitely cutting that and doing that at the beginning. So the podcast has been great for educational use and it's been building. I'm going to say it again, 65,000 motherfucking downloads in March. But
It's only
I
gone
want
up
to
'cause
start.
I'm on it.
Probably, yeah. I want to start doing something like really, really worthwhile.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
that is
cleaning up the
worthwhile.
industry, the UK industry, would be a nice start to this thing. The second thing that I'm going to start doing, once all this is done and it's a success, I'm going to start testing bacterial products. Certain products say that they've got certain millions and billions CFUs, and CFUs stand for all right, the amount of bacteria in a bottle. And I know in some bottles there's nowhere near that amount, or they're already dead. So that's what I'm getting to next. We're going to be
Let's
testing.
get the PGRs out the way, because that's
Oh, yeah.
more of a health issue. Now.
Oh yeah.
know what I
But I'm
mean?
just letting you know, like, I'm not getting away with it for much longer.
So I look forward to hearing from Bud C, Hydrotops, CANNA, Mills, Dutch Pro, Advanced Nutrients.
All of them.
Keep going.
Oh,
Ionic, Plant Magic. I look forward to hearing all
Intense
these. Probably
nutrients.
tomorrow morning when you all ring me up and say, yeah, we're all absolutely fine to go ahead with that test for you, because we don't contain anything like that. And,
if you ring us first, you'll go top of the list.
and you will be, we will
You'll
tell
be promoted on
everybody
Instagram,
that
promoted on podcasts.
these were formally given and paid for by the company themselves.
Oh, and you cannot send your own bottles to be tested. I will send the bottles. If I don't stock the product, I will ring up my good friends from around the country that already stock that product, pull it off their shelf and get it sent. No nutrient company will be allowed to send from their bottling facility straight to the lab. Not happening. So
You
that's
just keep
one way.
moving the goalpost.
No, but it's a good goalpost. Imagine, oh shit, do that, and that. Take out the PGR, send that to lab. Woohoo! No PGRs. Right, let's start crack on putting it back in. No, we've just stopped that one. I'll be pulling them off the
I'm looking
shelves.
forward to this, though.
I am. I'm going to take out some life insurance. If I suddenly die, then someone else please carry on the PGR quest. And that's it. Let's have a little look at the comments. Josh, do you want to start lining up this competition? Whoa, that made a really thunderous sound.
Yeah,
Listen to this.
You know what it is?
Whoa, it's like,
You could do that again.
1 hour 15. Fuck me.
I mean, what time is it?
Home time.
Fucking-
Weekly Hydroponics, it wasn't talking about any individual nutrient company. It was basically what we're doing weekly is we're doing a GoFundMe page or a crowdfunding page. If you can spare £1, then you'll spend £1.
What's all this, mate? He's fucking hogging the camera up here.
Yeah, he loves it, Barry, doesn't he? Do you remember back in the day, for people that have been listening for ages and he was dead quiet at the beginning? It's great. So we're going to get all these bottles, and if you can afford £1, you donate £1 to the bottle of your choice. Basically, it'll be a bottle that you use and you want to get it tested. And what Barry's saying as well is the nutrient companies should spend £1,000. Think of the marketing budget, and because CANNA, they're gonna spend £1,000 or £1,250.
Prove to your end users that you don't use it, and it'll also get you more end users, won't it?
Yeah.
So
So
the companies that we find out that are using them, people who don't want to use them, and there probably will be people that want to use PGRs, but the people who don't want to use them will probably come off it then and go on to a product that hasn't, which could be yours. So essentially, you can pay for yourself.
Garden Alchemy said it'll stock Barry's needs.
Oh, mate, there's something in the pipe.
There is, yeah. Grandad NPK said, "It is right, Barry." Oh, let me try and do an old grey man voice. "Is right, Barry. It's not down to the end user to pay for testing. It's the nutrient manufacturers." Don't know why I sound like Bane. That's a Grandad voice. Right. So everyone's in agreement. The company should pay, and for the lesser products that maybe don't have the money or they don't want to pay themselves, then I'll put some money in. Barry is going to put some money in. NPK as a shop will put some money in. Weekly Hydroponics, put the link on your page and game. So we're going to get all these shops that are interested in end consumer health to put money in. We're going to get the wholesalers to put money towards it. We're going to get the manufacturers to put money towards it. And the end consumer, if you can afford £1 or £10 or £100, then put that money in. And if you want to be anonymous, that's fine. If you want to shout out to help towards get rid of carcinogenic PGRs, then you'll get a big shout out. So this is what we're going to use the podcast for. Try our best to clean up the UK hydroponics industry. And this is the start, right? On to finish on something interesting. The competition.
That I organised.
I think you all know by now that's bullshit.
I might do another one.
No, you're not. If you do
I'm
another
giving
one,
away a full range of Baz's nuts. If you're interested,
you got to get them
me.
tested first.
I will. I'll get them tested, mate.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that.
to. So, what do we do here? Right, ask the audience. Oh, let's see. On YouTube, these companies adding these PGRs should be flagged up. Definitely. The industry needs cleaning up as it's people's health that matter, not profits. 100%. It's already in the name NPK. You carry the torch, though, Steve. No one else is as publicly passionate as you. Thank you, bro. See, do you hear that, Barry?
Yeah. No one's as passionate as you, Baz.
So, Mr. Melander said, don't be sorry. It was fascinating to learn about the adverse effects of PGRs. Just another reason for people to switch to organics. So, see, some people do like the science.
Skype them.
Do it in your own time. Yeah. So, let's see what everyone's saying. First person to pick a number between 3 and 8.
I thought you were going to say then, Mills is online now saying that they'll give us £1,000. No, they're not.
No nutrient manufacturers are watching at the moment. And if they are, they're staying very quiet. First person to pick a number between 3 and 8. First comment. Grandad, no. No. Somebody other than Grandad NPK, please. Sorry, mate. I want a bit of Northwest Flavour said 3. There we go. So we will randomise a list of entrants that many times. Randomised 3 times, please, Josh. I hope this works. This is a very technical, Joshy type of random draw pick. Thank you, Pop Weasel.
Yeah, and he's doing it online. So
it's
it is
random org.
Yeah. You can see it. Get Instagram in front of it.
That's changes round. So this list has been randomised 3 times as picked by one of our listeners. Pick them, Josh. Go. Huh? Oh, so it's number 1. Is it number 1? Devil's Teardrops. There we go. Devil's Teardrops won the package. Well done. But don't be sad because
there's loads more to give away.
And it's Barry's turn next time to ring all them up. Well done, Devil's Teardrops. You've won the BudBox tent, the light, fan and filter, 4-pot AutoPot system.
And your choice of nutrients.
Your choice of hydropots
or untested nutrients.
Hydropots of Buddha's Tree, Eco Thrive, all that sort of stuff. Well done. There's going to be more competitions though. We're probably going to do, Barry's going to do one at the end of, actually Barry's going to do one for Easter. Going to do an Easter giveaway.
What do you win, like a SANlight toolbox?
No, the Easter giveaway is going to be a partner giveaway. So it's going to be CANNA nutrients. It's going to be can filters. It's going to be
all right, don't explain to them. It's going to be something off every sponsor of the show.
I'm naming them.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
Sorry, lads. Sorry, I'm on in shot here.
Yeah, that's the way we like it.
Wouldn't be the same without me, would it?
We're going to give them a Revolution microelectronics light, and we're going to give them a SANlight LED. All right, that's the April giveaway. Easter giveaway. Really cool seeds that they missed the start. It was Devil's Teardrops won the competition. Well done to them. But there's going to be another one in Easter, so don't feel sad too long. Oh, that's it. That's the podcast. PGR's done. Been a bit of a long one. They're all crying in the background.
Didn't you see Josh put the time and date? It was like, yeah. Been here,
is that what that was?
We've been here since the 12th of Jalemba.
Right.
Doing this.
That's it. Thank you very much for everybody that's listened to podcast 172 PGRs, and all the questions that people have asked that I haven't managed to answer. That's on purpose, because when Barry goes missing for a few days or weeks, then I'll be live on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube. I'll be answering all the questions. And let's see where this PGR journey takes us. Thank you very much, Instagram watching live. Thank you very much, YouTube watching live. Thank you very much to everybody that listens live.
They're all going to shit themselves.
Oh,
You
I
just
reckon there's
rocked
some.
like the major boat.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with me.
I haven't rocked. It was Barry's idea. You always take credit for the ideas.
I'm
take
just
credit
waiting
this
for
one.
them. I'm going to give them till 12 o'clock to ring me, and then I'm going to ring them. If they don't pay for it themselves, I'll just next week. Yeah, they're not paying, so no fun that they're not paying. So they've got something to add. So
And we'll do a little bit each week. So the ones that we haven't got any funding towards, we'll say, listen, Nutrient X growers, we need you to start putting into your pocket to find out if these have got PGRs, and we will see where it goes. It's a good marketing exercise for these nutrient companies. Like Barry said, if CANNA comes out first and says, there's our boost, there's £1,000, get it tested. There's our isotonic, there's £1,000, get it tested.
And then a major player in the industry who are concerned about people's health and want to know and don't use them products.
Well, they like education of the end consumer because they're partners of the podcast. If they do this £1,000, they're bothered about end consumer health and welfare, and they would put themselves out. It's just next level marketing. It's not like, whoa, look at our boost, it does this, the plan, buy it. Partners of the podcast, education. And if they support this GoFundMe page, then they are interested in people's health, and then for that reason, people should support them. So there you go.
I'm going to get leaflets made and send them to every shop in the country with the gold side and the black side.
Yeah.
Say, put them on the counter, lad.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Watch
gold
out.
side
Watch
is
out,
good.
mate. I'm coming for you.
Black side is bad.
Yeah.
Oh. Definitely getting
untested and not willing to test.
No, definitely getting some life insurance.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's it. Garden Culture's out. New edition. Live in Organic Soil.
Boss magazine. If you don't read it, you should start.
So, one of the weeks that Barry's away, do you want to be involved in the discussion of this magazine?
We've saw Josh. How many times have I got to tell him, lad, I'm not missing a podcast?
Oh, we'll see.
I'm going to be at home with the Mac. And be at home with
Please
the baby.
Don't tell me that's what you call it.
With the Mac.
Oh, baby Mac.
I'm going to be like that. What's happening? Stay podcast, man. Yeah, man.
Cool. All right. Well, that's it.
Baby.
We've been gibbering on long enough. Thank you very much, Instagram. Thank you very much for watching live on YouTube. Man. Thank you very much for the people listening. We'll be back next week.
I'm going to have to get down to the office, Steve, because the phone's probably blowing up. Nice one for listening. I'll see you all later.
See you all next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.